Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
Huh?
Did you hear what I said?
Huh? It's a house!
Did you hear what I said?
Huh?
What's going on, freaks? All right. Yeah, well, it sounds like the sheriff has finally come out and they cleared all the Guthrie family and all family members. All right, and that's why we've been sort of, kind of fading away from that angle a little bit lately. Trying to think about it as if it didn't exist, because it was kind of becoming somewhat of a red herring, always trying to make it fit, because, I do believe Ashley Banfield had a legitimate source, and I think that's exactly where law enforcement was early on when she said that. Okay, so don't go out and start going, oh, if you have a good source like that, she had the source where, that source told her that they were really focused in on the husband of one of Nancy's, Annie's husband, okay? And that's what they probably were doing. That's why they were always over there. Did you guys remember how many times they went over to the house, searching, doing different things, taking pictures, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And then it probably turned out, maybe, we don't know, this could be a ploy of some sort, but the sheriff's department put out this. Now, you might not, the sheriff's department put it out, so if you're not, if you're willing to not accept anything that they ever say at face value, then it probably won't mean anything to you. But for the time being, we're just going to throw it out. Yeah. I don't think you would be embarrassed if you were her, because she actually had a source that, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but a source, and it was probably accurate, that law enforcement was looking into him at the time that she said that. Yeah, TMZ got another ransom note. And then I actually have that. There's a whole bunch of stuff. So anyways, this says, a statement from the sheriff, Chris Nanos, on the Nancy Guthrie investigation. To be clear, the Guthrie family, to include all siblings and spouses, has been cleared as possible suspects in the case. So they've been cleared as even just possible suspects. The family has been nothing but cooperative and gracious and are victims in this case. To suggest otherwise is not only wrong, it is cruel. The Guthrie family are victims, plain and simple. Please, I'm begging you, the media, to honor your profession and report with some sense of compassion and professionalism. Right. And that's why when you get some jackasses that show up to your show and blame the family for not taking better care of Nancy, it's just saying crap, just bull crap. Yeah, she needs to. The thing is it seemed like a pretty good theory. Everybody in here at one point thought, man, maybe it is the family member, right? That's just the way it is. But we've been sort of going away from that the last week or so. It's always part of one of the theories until that's ruled out, because that was something that they were looking at. Right, yeah, the conspiracy theorists will never change their mind. They'll say it's a big ploy to make them feel comfortable, and then something will happen. When I was watching Fox News earlier, they went back. The house on... so let's take a look at this. And don't forget, you guys, when you're watching the show, if you have the ability to help support the channel, buy channel memberships, etc., that would be great. We're currently at 0 all the way across the board. So if you guys have the ability to, that would be fantastic. All right. So I think at this house over here, this one, they went back over and removed, it might be this house here, but they removed the vehicle that was in the driveway of this house, just like today or something. You know, they went back and collected it. So that means there's something of interest. And then I would think if there is, we said this the other day, but if there is something to do with that place and the glove is found down here and it turns out the glove is somehow matches DNA up here, then that means the glove was put here to throw people off, to make it look like they were driving in this direction, and then probably turned around and came back and went back this way. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, people are talking about, and her last name is Daly, not Day. Yeah, but somebody posted this post in a Facebook group. I'll just read it. It said Kayla was actually apprehended on February 12th, the day before the SWAT moved in on Luke and the rest of them. Kayla, let's see. I guess that is her last name. Okay. Kayla Day is her last name. So then, like, her boyfriend is where the house was. And she was booked the same night as Luke and Zach were detained, and his vehicle was apprehended. Kayla has had outstanding warrants from the drug bust and had been on the run. My guess is that she is in custody and hopefully talking. I wonder if Savannah's message was directly to her. Kayla Day has a mother named, well, who cares what the mother's name is, whose maiden name, though, is Guthrie. Right? So then it sounds like, so they're guessing, it sounds like Kayla's mother might be, blood relative. I mean, there's other people with the name Guthrie, but that would be extremely coincidental, wouldn't it? That would be pretty crazy. No, I think law enforcement went and got it. That's what Fox News was saying, that they towed it away. Yeah, maybe, though, yeah. Yeah, because it was kind of, maybe something happened to it. What's going on in the chat again? Man. It's wild. Looney Tunes. Now, they were wondering if it was somebody related to Nancy's ex-husband. I mean, not ex, he passed away. All right. So that kind of, that would be pretty interesting, wouldn't it? And, we got to take everything with a grain of salt these days. I'm not sure we missed it by time we got there. What does that mean? Yeah, we don't know if who it was to. Yeah, it could be. Sure. All right, guys, we're still at 0.0000000 across the board. On this channel, we rely on the people watching to help support it, and that's how we're able to donate thousands of dollars. We've already given 1,000 out this month, and I need you guys' support when we do these shows. I've been, up all day just trying to listen and gather various pieces of information. Went out and I figured out what the helicopter was that was doing the Bluetooth, and got its different paths and everything. So that would be great. Thank you. Yeah, it didn't seem like it was totally bashed up or anything. Hey, Positive, can you slow down a little bit? Yeah, we already said who it was. Can you slow down a little bit? You just keep typing, just like almost vomiting texts. Hey, thanks, Tracy Von Brott. All right. One of the helicopter flights, I think, was pretty ominous, to be honest with you. And they may have based it up there based on movements of a known vehicle or something like that. Now, Luke is related to where they went the other night when there was all the cops out there running around north of Nancy's property. The big night with the night vision helicopter and all the nut jobs accusing somebody that owned an Airbnb of being associated. And it was interesting until we realized it was an Airbnb. It's like, well, they don't even own the place. So what? I mean, they own it. They're not living there. So what difference would it make? Yeah. So let me get the. I'm going to throw some of these other ones in here. I think it was on the 9th. Maybe the 9th. Yeah, look at this one right here. So I think they were doing the same thing even on the 9th. And I'm pretty sure that's what they were doing because I'll explain why here in a second. Okay. Yeah, so look where the helicopter was flying here. And it's like north of town here. And I mean they're going along. Up here is a little weird, but when I was looking at it right over around in here, they seem to be following like a dirt road or something up here where you could just throw somebody's body off of the side. And then it looked like they were flying, maybe they flew over to see if it could detect the Bluetooth. Yeah, the foreign DNA was, well, that's what he said. It was found in the home. Yeah, there was foreign DNA in the home, and they found a glove. And they're testing, there's DNA on the glove that they found, and they're testing that too. Like there's this wash that you could have driven up. I don't know. It's interesting that helicopter was flying right in here. The same one that's on the news. It's I can actually remember it, like something like N, I don't know, 599 SD, something like that. And this is the same helicopter that was right in the crime scene early. It was right over there. This is on the 1st even. Let's see. The next one is 11th. And it's back up there again on the 11th. So isn't that interesting? That's right around the same spot again on the 11th. And then the 14th. And this is what it did on the 14th. It was that, and that's the date that we have images of it with on the news outlets doing this. So look where it's going, up this steep road or like a creek up here, but there's a path on there. I don't know if you can drive it or not, but it's flying up there. It's pretty interesting. Like, why is it doing that? They're probably looking at places that people could, like, for lack of a better term, dump a body or something like that. Well, I guess you started it off, Tracy Van Brott, and then it just died right after that. All right, let's see. We have this one that was put out. Nancy Guthrie Sheriff says her entire family, including son-in-law, have been ruled out as kidnapping suspects. The sheriff investigating the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie has announced that the 84-year-old entire family has been ruled out. And then as the hunt for Nancy entered its third week, on Monday, Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos announced the family had been cleared as suspects. To be clear, the Guthrie family, to include the siblings and spouses, has been cleared as possible suspects. We already read all that, so I guess this is maybe him in the car there. I mean, when you have people like, the live streamers that are standing there, and a couple of these YouTubers who say their name as being the suspect out loud over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, maybe it creates a kind of a crazy situation for him on the ground over there. He's been somebody that's been interesting, I try to refer to him as the, like the husband of Annie or somebody like that. And I say that he picked up or drove Nancy home. But whenever I'm talking about who did it, I just say, somebody in the family, maybe the husband of Annie. But I don't know, it's just better not to throw out their name as being the person until you're absolutely sure. Yeah, well, Ashley, did mention the name because that's what her source told her, that they were looking into that person. I mean, that's where it kind of, everybody was already looking at that. That's just the truth. Like, everybody was looking at it. And then a source said that, her source said that law enforcement was looking into it. Thanks, Allie Cake. We talked about that name we talked about we didn't say the names though, so I don't do that. That's the thing. The night of, remember I said the owner of the home is a famous golfer? That's because there's a famous golfer with the same first name, the same name as the people that own this home right here. Okay? We didn't talk about, their names or, I didn't bring up the name or anything like that. That's the house they were at, and they were all, I'm not sure if they were cleared, but they were all let go and not arrested. Well, so you got a lot of views. You got millions of views per video, where we just kind of languish around. I mean, look at this. Look at today's show. $3.98 we're at. It's pretty wild. If I was doing conspiracies on the ground, oh my God, it looked like a slot machine. And that's what we YouTubers rely on, is people supporting. Let's see. Ashley doesn't work anymore. Yeah, you said that. So which leads do you think law enforcement will pursue next? I think the DNA is probably the biggest one. And they've probably been interested in a particular person for a little bit now, a few days. And maybe some DNA doesn't rule out people, and that's interesting. I think the DNA is their biggest hope. And it would be the DNA, the foreign DNA in the house. And then once you get the foreign DNA in the house, and, quality control, whatever they want to call it, you upload it to CODIS. And then once it's uploaded to CODIS, and if there's no matches in there, then they can try, investigative genetic genealogy, where you take the sequence and you upload it to these places like GEDmatch, and it returns the highest, the closest relative based on centimorgan count, and then you start building out a family tree based on those. Now, the closer the relatives, the easier the tree is to build out, unless there's an adoption that nobody knew about or something like that. Those actually happen a lot because those people use those services to try to find their relatives, because they don't, they put their DNA out there and then they see it. Like, for example, I had somebody that had 800 centimorgans when I put mine in there, and I was like, wow, that's like a, first cousin or, really close relative at that point. Maybe it was 600. And turns out it was a, let's see, a daughter of one of my mom's sisters that she gave up for adoption at birth. So that just would have thrown me off building a tree out of that. But you build a tree out and you find somebody on each side of the family, and then you narrow it down to the family, and then you find out it's a lead. You know, it's like, hey, it's either one of these three sons. It's probably this guy because he lives here, blah, 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 blah. And then law enforcement has to verify if it makes sense and check it out. So they're probably going to do that on the foreign DNA that they have, and then they're going to, the DNA on the glove, you know, that's a little, I mean, you could put it into CODIS, and then what if it came back, I mean, there's nobody, then you're going to do forensic genetic, that would be absolutely, we did something like that with the DNA fund that we have, where we had a cigarette butt tested that was left at a crime scene. Amazingly, it led back to a criminal who apparently was in jail when the crime was committed, but when police went to track him down, he drove way up in the woods and took his own life. I mean, it was the weirdest damn thing in the world, you know. Or he had already done that before, I guess, but that was his disposition. Like, for some reason, they were looking for him or something for some other time. He went up in the woods and took his own life, but his is the cigarette butt that they found at the scene of a homicide. But apparently he was in jail at the time the homicide took place. So the cigarette butt was put there at a different time, but then he goes out and takes his own life when law enforcement is looking for him. It's pretty weird, isn't it? So it'd be more like that. It'd be a fishing expedition. It's not directly, you cannot say that the glove found over here, the glove, it's right down here. The glove found right there, you cannot say that glove is connected to the case unless the DNA on the glove matches the foreign DNA in the house. All right, you can't just say it outright. But what you could do is test the glove DNA and then put it into CODIS. And if, let's say, the person has breaking and entering and doing all these different things, then it's somebody that's really interesting to try to look at and see if there's any other evidence. All right. So that's where the black glove was found. And, you know, the thing is, where the black glove was found, I think is also interesting to law enforcement. Because of where this is located and how somebody would want to get out of there. The first place you'd want to go is to one of the main roads to get out so you can get away. These roads here, you got to drive really slow. They're really dark. So you'd want to make it to this main road over here. And that's really the closest route. I mean, there's one that you could do. Well, no, I mean, it is the closest route. So from right here, you just come out of the house, turn right, and then take the first right there. Well, you would just keep going straight here, I would think. I mean, there's two ways. You can go take a right and go this way to here, or you can go all the way to there, turn right, and then come down. But then you drive down this highway, and then maybe at a certain point you just ditched one of the gloves out the window. But it makes sense where it's located. If the glove was found right here or something, it would just be, I don't know. Who knows what that is? Why would it be right there? You might look at the homes right here or something, but it just would be ludicrous. So it's either a glove that, you know, it could have been intentionally placed there to throw people off. I mean, I don't know. It's just in the wrong direction. But it'd be stupid to throw a glove out that has your DNA on it, even if you are using it as a head fake. But a lot of times these people don't think of stuff like that. All right, you guys, we have 0 channel memberships gifted. And we're only at $3.98. Does that seem normal? So if you're out there and you're watching and you have the ability to help support the channel, as I've said 1,000 times when we're doing these shows, it seems like I'm always relegated to saying the same thing over and 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 over again. So if you have the ability to, that would be great. Thank you. Let's see. Oh yeah, and then Trump said, Trump threatens kidnapper with death penalty if Nancy Guthrie isn't returned alive in call with the Post. That's pretty crazy.
I wanted to come on.
Yeah, President Trump told the Post Monday that those responsible for kidnapping Nancy Guthrie must release her unharmed or they will face the most severe federal penalties. In a brief phone interview, Trump said he would want the Justice Department to seek the death penalty if the 84-year-old mother of NBC Today Show host Savannah Guthrie is killed. The president said the abductor would face very, very severe, the most severe federal consequences if Nancy Guthrie is found dead. Well, if she's already dead, then I don't know. Then that just makes them less likely to do something, I don't know. I mean, it's cool too, but it's also like, well, let's say she's already dead. I mean, then these people are like, hell, we better let's get out of Dodge, Forgive you? What are you talking about? I'm just talking to people who can afford it, not to random people. Let's see. Would want to avoid main roads that could have cameras. I mean, not random people. People, if you can't, what I'm saying, if you can support the channel, if you can, that'd be great. I'm talking to people who can. So if you can't, you don't need to type in, I can't. I'm not talking to you. I've already said it out loud, So I don't understand that part. I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if it... yeah. I guess what he's saying is if they believe she's still alive, you better turn her in quick. And I guess in the other scenario, what difference does it make? So I guess it overall it helps, right? Because it's like, okay, if you have her, you better turn her in or we'll go for the death penalty. If she's not alive, then what difference does it make? At this point, you're still going to have to try to catch them with the same evidence that you have. And when you catch them, then they'll suffer the consequences. So, yeah, it's okay. It's all right. What did you think about the BT sniffer stuff? I don't know. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I mean, it was sort of interesting. It's just not that interesting. It's a Bluetooth detection thing. I mean, you sent it to me. You kept sending me these, like, updates and whatnot. I mean, it seemed like you had interesting stuff. It's just a Bluetooth device that amplifies Bluetooth signals and collects it. I mean, and it can, like, basically a hearing aid, but really powerful, that can hear, and that's probably what they're doing. That's what they're using. Yeah, I don't know. He wasn't there, actually. When you said he was there, it was his friend that was there. He wasn't there. I was reading it. He did have one sort of interesting, like this post right here. It's pretty interesting. It said there was a couple questions on does pacemaker continue to advertise, whatever the hell that is. I mean, I know it means be active. Most BLE implementable devices go into a sleep type mode. In this case, we're lucky it does not. Like hers does not go into sleep mode. We know based on law enforcement answers that she is using a more modern pacemaker with Bluetooth capability based on this statement. 228, her pacemaker app disconnects from her phone. Newer devices advertise to paired phone apps. Couple key points on newer generation pacemakers. Pacemaker and phone are bonded. It says 1, pacemaker and phone are bonded. Phone is the central, pacemaker is the peripheral. When the phone is, number 2, when the phone is out of range or the connection drops, the pacemaker re-enters advertising mode. Or maybe that's just the term they use. Like, hey, I'm over here, to reestablish the connection. When you go to the Bluetooth and you say find all the devices and it starts showing all the different ones. It advertises a regular interval. Could be every 100 milliseconds or every few seconds, waiting for the phone to reconnect and pull monitoring data. So yes, it's broadcasting on a predictable cycle. And since it's a medical device, almost certainly using a static MAC, whatever, all this mumbo jumbo, all running continuously would catch it. Every advertisement it sends is visible to any BLE scanner in range, not just the paired phone. The pacemaker doesn't know or care who is listening on the advertising channels. It just broadcasts and waits for a connected IND from the bonded phone. My school scanner passively picks up those same advertisements. So what you probably do is have this device, and then as you're flying around, it tells you, like, you can look at your device and then say, like, I'm just, for the hell of it, I'm going to say, it says, Nancy's pacemaker. Wow, you could connect to it. So that means they're in the range of connecting to Nancy's pacemaker. And then that would be a clue. Seems like a really difficult task. How far away can you be from the Bluetooth to get a signal? Right. Yeah, I saw you put it on a DJI drone. Okay. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. We'll see if that works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. For me, it was mildly interesting. It's just kind of, we'll see. If it works, it'll be great to look at it all. It doesn't really help us do anything knowing about it. I guess that's what I'm saying. We could sit here and go, oh, that's really cool, but it doesn't, we don't get to do anything with it. Why do helicopters have that pacemaker equipment in that? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Why do the helicopters have... They don't. They don't have that stuff. They just created it for this case. Just made me laugh that the media says it's FBI tech, but it's just some guy. Yeah, maybe. They were doing this at the beginning of the case, if you remember. They did the same thing. They flew around with a helicopter and were trying to detect her phone. That was mentioned literally like on day 4 of this. So I don't know if they're using his better equipment on there, or he just might be one of those people sort of taking credit for what they are saying they're doing. I don't know. But they were doing it at the very beginning of the case, so I don't know what's actually happening with this guy. Yeah. Now, Nancy's daughter, Savannah, who's the host of NBC Today, issued her latest appeal. Yeah, we heard that. Thought it was interesting, that commenter yesterday about the construction that was going on right here, right at this house. It's even going on in this picture. There's construction going on, but that was in 2024. But it's so close there, maybe the person, continued to monitor because they knew that maybe the person was working there and then saw that she was alone there. Okay, see you later, gambling now, mama. Yeah. Classic troll. What an idiot. Alright, so we need troll funds, you guys. One year gap between the work and... Right. Right. Yep. Yeah, and then there's another one that somebody sent after the show. What was that? Or was it during the show? Yeah, during the show. It was crazy. Yeah, that one case, it was right at the end. It was exactly the same situation. This elderly woman was at home. A person that worked on her house, she recognized him. He came into the house, and then he actually was going to try to abduct her from the residence, but then she kicked him multiple times, and her daughter just happened to be coming home at the time, and he bailed. But it was exactly the same thing. It's crazy. Hey, well, there's Tracy Von Brod again. How about any of the rest of you guys? If you could please help support the channel, that would be fantastic. You know, I don't know. It's weird when you have these drastically different days out of nowhere for no reason. There's no difference, nothing different. It's really weird. Strange stuff. Yeah, this says mask clothing worn. This is from today too. By suspect in Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, believed to be from Walmart. I thought we already knew this, but I mean the mask too. Thanks, South Texas guy. Sheriff Chris Nanos of Pima County, Arizona, tells CBS News that investigators searching for Nancy Guthrie believe the clothing and face mask worn by the suspect in the chilling doorbell video released last week were purchased at Walmart. They are still working to identify each brand. CBS News first reported that the suspect's backpack, identified as Black Ozark Trail Hiker, was sold exclusively at Walmart. Hey, thanks, Ali Cake. They are still working to identify each brand. CBS News first reported that the suspect's backpack, identified as a Black Ozark Trail Hiker, was sold exclusively at Walmart. Now, somebody a minute ago asked if I was on the spectrum. Hey, let's, okay, yeah, I'm on the spectrum. So that means I can say, with the way I am, you're making fun of a protected class of people. So, man, you're so mean. I'm autistic. I'm on the spectrum. And you keep coming in here and making fun of me and trolling me. And oh, God. And the thing is how could you possibly do that with somebody with a disability, you bastard? Hey, thanks, Lori. Appreciate it. These guys. Oh, these idiots that show up in here. My God. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right. It remains unclear whether the items were bought online or in a store in Arizona. Yeah, well, of course it's unclear. If it was clear, then you'd have the guy. There's no way you can tell by looking at a photograph if the item was bought online or at the store. Like somebody wearing clothing. You go, hey, yes, we know he bought that at the store. How? No, just call it a hunch. We don't know if he bought it at the store. We hope he bought it at the store because then you can... it's interesting. In this one, the shine doesn't look quite as shiny as it does in the close-up ones. It has more of that... the look that the regular gloves have, now that I look at that. Yeah, I'm not all that bad. I mean, listen, aren't we all on the spectrum somewhere? You know what I mean? like at some point, we're all a little bit on the spectrum. You know, some of us are just higher functioning. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't know. All we have is the link. We don't have phone numbers anymore. We have the StreamYard link that people can click into later. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you know, like Tracy Von Brott, she's very high functioning. Mary Hart, sure, you too. Allie Cake, and, you know, high functioning as well. Yeah, have you ever just noticed yourself repeatedly, like, wringing your hands? Well, there you go, everybody. Right. I don't know. I'm not into the Mexico cartel. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. They haven't asked for a damn thing, and if it was a cartel, they would have absolutely have shown proof of life at this point, and likely got the millions that they wanted. It just isn't. It's not going to be cartel. If it is, I'm sorry, but it's really. I think the odds of it being cartel are like 1 in a billion. It just doesn't make sense at all. Does this look like a cartel guy? That was the best argument somebody made when they commented the other day. They said, would somebody from the cartel look around for a plant to put over the camera? And I was like, yeah, exactly. They don't do that kind of stuff. They know what they're doing. All right. We know Harvey got another email today. We know. Here, I'll go play it. I already mentioned it. Yeah. If Harvey got it, it's really significant. You know, the case is about to turn because of Harvey. He's been on top of this since the beginning. He's absolutely unbelievable. Hey, there was also this one right here, the
patio drone video that
like this was on Fox News. They got the drone low enough where they could film the back doors and were sort of pointing out. They didn't show the door that I think they went in through this door right here into the garage, if that is the garage. I mean, I think it is. I don't know if it continues over there. Maybe that's not, but I think they went in this door right here, and that's why they broke the floodlight that was right there. I think they broke in right there. Oh wow! Look at that huge hole they made. See that dark spot there? It's huge. Look at that. Look. Oh wait, that's just a shadow, and this is from 2014. Never mind. Maybe Harvey is behind it. Bengal cat. You just never know at this point. Yeah, so they have this, and they're kind of just showing.
Shows you an angle of Nancy Guthrie's house you may not see too much. It's the back side of the home and the rear.
That's what I'm saying, man. If I had my Mavic 2 out there with the 360 degree on top, and I could just sort of lower it into there, and just get it the hell out of there. Ah, God, we'd have the whole view of that whole area.
Patio. Now the back door is blue with some window panes, and then there's a second blue door that seems to be attached or near the garage. Now from our wide...
That's the dumbest GoFundMe I've ever heard of. I saw a GoFundMe page today of people trying to raise the money to pay off the person who claims to know who the kidnapper is. Oh my God, that's...
Unofficial view, we can't see any signs of smashed glass or noticeable signs of forced entry.
Well, actually,
but that's
that is
just, our unofficial survey.
That one was the
Can't
one.
see any signs of smashed glass or...
Because isn't that where the floodlight was? Yeah, it's right there. See that we're just looking at right there. So they do have that. Floodlight was right there. And maybe it's more, I mean, what you're showing, you can't see anything. But maybe they just kind of, you know, they used the pick the lock or something, they could tell. I don't know.
Noticeable signs of forced entry.
Yeah, so, okay. And where's the other one? I was trying to find, I thought these were my recordings of me saying my, I'm never watching again. But they weren't. All right, let's see. Here's the Harvey one.
It is Monday morning. We have...
Hey guys, we have 0 gifted channel memberships on this live stream. So if you're out there, could you please consider gifting some channel memberships, as we have 0. I don't think we ever had a show like that in months.
Received a 4th letter from the same person who says that he knows where Nancy Guthrie is and he wants money in return for the information. Essentially, he wants the reward. So I have something to say to you, and I've already talked to the FBI about this, that if you are not real, you're committing a crime, and you should know that. And this is a serious federal crime. If you are real, this is the 4th letter you've sent, and I should tell everybody that in this letter, it says, to tell everybody that...
I wonder if you could, I don't know, let's see. Anybody hear me? We have 0 channel memberships. And there's one joining. Hey, welcome, Lori. That's not clear enough. That'd be awesome if that was like HD video and you could sort of make out some of the words, but yeah, that's not gonna happen.
This letter, it says, I know what I saw 5 days ago south of the border, and I was told to...
Yeah, so this person saw something 5 days ago south of the border in Mexico.
Shut up, so I know who he is, and that was definitely Nancy with them. This is the 2nd time he has referred to more than one person involved in this. He said there was a main person, and...
Yeah, you know, this is totally bogus. The guy might live in Mexico, but the thing is think about it. If somebody said don't say anything, and then all of a sudden they go over there, they're going to know who's the one that said something. You know, they're going to know that he said it. So he's not hiding anything. And by the way, why wouldn't you just, you know, come forward? You know, if you're not part of this crime, sure, you have other... He mentions that he has other criminal charges against him in the past. But why would you be worried about it now? You just give the information, the FBI will go, wow, hey, thank you. And then you get the reward. You're the one that led to the arrest and, or, you know, return of Nancy. You get the whole 100,000 at one chunk.
And there are others, and he said it here. He is saying that...
he's just enjoying, like right now, he's watching going, ha ha, man, this is so cool. He's going to read my next one too.
Nancy was taken to Mexico. Now, this is what he's saying. I'm not going to vouch for him, but this is the 4th letter. We have sent them all on to the FBI. And he also says one of the reasons he's worried about coming forward is he has a record. He has a burglary on his record from 10 years ago.
A burglary, yeah.
So I don't know if you're real or not if you're watching this, but if you are...
The thing that he says is stupid, though, what Harvey suggests.
And I have told the FBI
They probably laughed at your face when you said it.
that we're going to do this. They know this. That
Now, they know you're going to say this.
if you're worried about getting this money, and you really do have this information, send it to us. You're sending us these letters. Send it to us. We will forward it to the FBI. And that way there's a record that we have that you supplied this information. If they find her and they find the kidnapper, then at least there is evidence, because we have it, that you're the one who provided the information. So this is a way for you to get that
What's
money
the difference
if this really is legit.
I know, but why? Hey, but Harvey, why don't you just tell him? Listen, send the same type of letter that you send us, you know, to them, and they'll still know that you did it. You sent it in. I really just don't get it. I don't understand his logic.
Legitimate. Send us the information. We will pass it on to the FBI.
That was it. Isn't that awesome? Whew. Wow. Harvey's running the show here, man. He's on it. Let's see. The other day, he was on it when he had the bald-headed guy with the 2 backpacks. Oh, yeah, that guy's 100% involved. Look at this guy. Oh, my God. In fact, let's get an expert on to disclaim the 147 front camera being disconnected because it won't work with the story we're going to say. So when his co-host said, should we bring up the 147? Don't bring up the 147. Don't bring up 147. Yeah, so we've heard from a source that the timeline is all wrong, everybody, because we want this story to make sense to everybody and be really exciting and new. Now, it's like the Love Boat, you know. It's the greatest story in the world. Just, you know, it wasn't going to work, though, if we had the 147, because there's really no way that in 6 minutes the guy with the backpack could be all the way over there. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some, quote, expert, and he's going to say that the timeline is not correct, that 147 is absolutely bogus, and that it was actually 212 when the motion was detected and it was on the front camera. Regardless of the fact that at the press conference they mentioned 2 different cameras. They said that the doorbell camera was disconnected at 147, and then a camera recorded motion at 212. So that would obviously be a different camera, but of course that doesn't matter to TMZ because it makes it such a way better story. You wouldn't want to bring up the 147 one because it would be too confusing, as Harvey said off air there. You guys remember that one? Yeah, it's garbage. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Stacy. Yeah. Yeah, it's Harvey. You know, or you're saying Harvey's dream is to have high ratings. Like I said, he's gonna. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I can't understand your claims to not trust the police. Who? I trust law enforcement and FBI. All, you know, both of them. Just in general, okay? Of course, every once in a while, you know, especially when they get political, they make, and they're working for a particular person, you know, president, like the last administration, doing the bidding. That sucks, you know, that kind of stuff is horrendous. But like their actual law enforcement going out and investigating crimes, there's really nobody better than the FBI. Not even close. You know? Well, maybe Texas EquiSearch there. Yeah, I don't know. This story, I don't know. I don't think it's that crazy right now. It's all the crazy part of the story is all the idiocy on the sides. Just there's Lori and Chad Daybell's the story that if you wrote it, you wouldn't believe it because it's so dumb. You know, that's the kind of thing like that. This one is just, I mean, if you broke it down into its simplest forms, you know, Nancy's dropped off at the house at 9:48. Garage door open. She goes inside 9:50. The garage door shuts and she goes into the home. And then all the way, at 1:47, there was an individual at the front of the house that disconnected the doorbell camera. And eventually, after probably waiting for it to see if cops would arrive, entered the house in the back and disconnected the floodlights back there. But at the same time, a motion was recorded when he was in the back at 2:12, and he goes inside the house and then confronts Nancy in there. And Nancy's pacemaker was still connected to her phone. And then at 2:28, so 2:12, he's recorded. There's motion being recorded. Then 2:28, he goes in. 2:28, her phone doesn't connect to her pacemaker anymore, and her watch and her phone are found in the house. So that means she was moved far enough away from it that it wasn't connecting anymore. So that's when she was being removed from the home. And as she's being removed from the home, her face was close enough to the ground, between 8 and 24 inches off the ground, according to ChatGPT, based on the size of the expirated blood spatter. And she was in a stationary position. So she was alive as she was being removed from the home at 2:28. And that's really it. You know what I mean? Like, right there, all the other stuff about who called 911 and when that's just absolutely irrelevant at this point. Everything was consistent, too. As a matter of fact, I started thinking less about the family when they corrected the timeline, and there was really only something like 6 minutes between the time they got to the house and then they called the police. Okay, that was like, okay, that wasn't an hour, and they weren't just sort of, changed, made me think a little differently. But I still thought, they're looking into it because they kept having people over at the daughter's home over and over and over again. Hey, thanks, first, last. You just quadrupled the highest super chat in there. Thank you. I zoomed in a way too much on the blood last. Huh? Yeah. Seeing a bullet. Oh, God. Yikes. All right, let's see. Why was she removed? Yeah. I mean, that's so that's kind of the whole case is just what I just said. And then also inside the home, they found foreign DNA. They said originally that there was forced entry of some sort. And maybe they called it forced entry just because there was, maybe because the lights were damaged. Maybe that's what made him say that. But I think there was something, because how would you get into the home? I'm sure it was locked. Right. The whole thing about why she was removed is the whole question. And it turns out that, that case we talked about at the end of the show last night. I don't know where it is now. Somebody sent it to me. But it was exactly the same thing. That person was going to remove her from the home because she recognized him. And maybe that's exactly what we have here. And she recognizes him for a different reason. And maybe that information we had earlier at the beginning of the show kind of makes sense. This part right here. This person who said, this Kayla person, as a co-conspirator of a drug trafficking bust in 2025, was booked the same night and were detained. This is that night, the other night, when the cops were, and people said, oh, there's somebody dead, somebody got shot themselves. Kayla had outstanding warrants from that drug bust and had been on the run. My guess is that she is in custody and hopefully talking. I wonder if Savannah's message was directly for Kayla. Kayla Day has a mother named Penny Day, whose maiden name is Penny Guthrie. I mean, that's sort of interesting, Let me go look at something really quick. I mean, I don't know if, there's other people with the name Guthrie out there, but I mean, in this case, that would be a pretty wild coincidence. But hey, guys, if you're out there, if you could please help support the channel. We're currently at 1/30th of just just kind of a basic goal, which is we're miles away. Here, I'm going to put this in here. Or not. Let's see. Maybe it's, I think it's spelled differently. Well, you don't know who she was. You know, you're just hearing it because somebody suggested that. I'm trying to check it out. How do you, man, this is crazy. Yeah, boy. Oh, that was it. All right, let's see. So we got that. She's 84. All right, I don't know if you guys heard what I said, but we're really struggling today. So if you have the ability to help support the channel, I would appreciate it. Thank you. I wish I didn't have to ask 1,700 times. We know exactly what we do on the show. I just want to do the show, but it's so demoralizing when you guys aren't supporting it. It's just really not a good feeling. All right, let's see. We've got... so Charles died in 1988. All right, I'm going to go look at him. Let's see, what is her relatives? 5. Annie. I don't see anybody with that name. Like, there's really nobody with that name that's connected. What are they saying? Penny? Hey, thanks, C. Serwin. Appreciate it. You don't think who's a suspect? What are you talking about? Bengal? I don't even know what you're referring to. I don't think he's a suspect, Gray. Who? Who are you talking about? I have no idea what you're even referring to. You know? It's crazy. Let's see. Were detained and the vehicle was apprehended. Kayla. So let's see. Penny Day. Okay, let me look up this other person and see if we can find some thread. Kayla Day in Tucson, right? Hey, thanks, my home life. Peace. Yeah. Yeah, okay, she's in here. Is she 40 years old, that person? And then you're saying Penny is her mom. I guess that would show up in here. Yeah, no, Okay, you were joking. I see. Yeah, I'm not looking up his dad for anything. I was looking up to try to find the dad's sister if he had one named Penny. And I don't see that. I'm trying to back engineer what people were saying. I just don't see it. Let me try it again. Another. Yeah, I don't know where people get some of the stuff people say. They just say it. You know, that's exactly what that guy was saying the other day on that in that clip yesterday. I mean, how do we know that there's a Penny Guthrie that's the mother of that Kayla individual? How old is the person that you have there, Debuno? I don't have anybody like that. This could be it, though. Let's see. Thomas. No. I don't see it. Yeah, I don't know which one. Deb, I'm asking you, like, what age is the person that you're looking up? I don't even see in Ben Verified a Kayla Day. I see one that's 40, 61, and that's about it. And the other one doesn't even live in Tucson. Okay, yeah, there's not even anybody in here with that. That's 32 years old. So, that's not in my system. Oh, I see one. There's one that's no age, but the Sahwa Rita thing that you're mentioning, I do see that. But why would Facebook discuss her court records? Wow. I mean, that's what she has 26 misconduct involving weapons, dangerous drug possession, criminal deface or damage, speed, that's nothing, theft, shoplifting, lifting of goods on display, value over $100, not provided, drug paraphernalia, knowingly, let's see, intent to injure, insult, provoke, something, I don't know, criminal damage. But the more recent ones are pretty concerning, though, right? Like this is from, well, it doesn't have a date, but misconduct involving weapons, dangerous drug possession, criminal deface or damage. She had 26 things in there. Drug paraphernalia violation. That's pretty interesting. Thank you, Shane McGuffey. Shane McGuffey. There you go. Hey, I could actually read one on here. That's a lot of charges on there. Unfortunately, this person doesn't have any. Well, let's see. I'm looking for Penny. Yeah, I don't see anybody named Penny that they're referring to. I see somebody named, so she's 30 something apparently. So her mother could be, yeah, 50 something. I see somebody named Barbara. That's the only person that might be your mom. So I don't know where this Penny is coming from. Do you see any of that Penny information, Debuno? Okay, I don't have the mugshot. Nobody sent it to me. You want to email it to me? Where there's a link, not just the mugshot. I mean, when you're helping out, try to help out instead of just being like, "Hey, I saw this." Remember the one the other day? The perfect example is the other day. Somebody said, "Hey, they found a glove," and I go, "Where? Where? Can you help me out?" And they go, "Yeah, on the side of the road." And I said, "Well, there's a side of the road everywhere. The whole city has a side of the road somewhere. Can you be a little bit more specific than the side of the road?" Gosh, Gray, they were just trying to help. Well, it made it more confusing, you know. How about send, "Hey, Gray, they found the glove at 30th and Weiler Street." You know, whatever the hell it is. I'm just throwing it out there. Like in this case, you could have said, near North Cafe La Vella, or whatever the hell, and North Campbell Avenue. That would help. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Lenny. Or Lenny. Or I don't know how to pronounce that, but for the PayPal there. Yeah, like full sentences. That works too. You guys see that story that just came out with the mother, like a cheerleading mother in Las Vegas? They go down there for a cheering event. The girl's 11, and her mother took her to the room and killed her, and then killed herself in the hotel room. It's like, what are you doing? What's happening? What's happening here? Harvey said I was mean? Sweet. But what happened in the 85-year-old... Okay, so that person was abducted too. 85-year-old man kidnapped in Australia, still missing 5 days. Yeah. So if you want to send me the... Alright. I don't have anything. Like, where are you getting Penny? Yeah, but where are you getting that from? It's not there. Yeah, it's not underneath. It's not on Ben Verified. There's no Penny in there connected to Kayla Day. It's not in there. But apparently they took that vehicle from that house. But why would they? So there must be... You know, here's the thing. I think the single most kind of confusing element of this case, the one that we're all stuck on, that makes you, is just the fact that she was removed from the home. That's the part. Other than that, it's pretty standard stuff. You know, I don't know what it's short for. Oh, so wow, a woman did the custody thing. How stupid is that? Jesus. Are used Yeah, Ben verified is great. So when it's not in there, it's like, yeah, I'm not sure what you guys are looking at. And we don't have like a family tree here, and also nobody sent me the mugshot. You know, I said email me the mugshot. Here's my email, and then I look at my email, and it doesn't show up. So I'm not even sure you guys have that. Let's see. Know what? Well, I think they do have the DNA. They're just going through, they called it quality control. That's something, I don't know. The FBI usually does things a little quicker than that. I think what they're really doing is they're trying to compare that DNA on the glove to the foreign DNA found in the house. And then if it doesn't match, then it's kind of like, well, do we even test this thing now? Because here's what I'll tell you. I think the item in the house that has the DNA on it, wherever they got it, is something that they know is from the person in the house because of where it was located and what they know the person was doing inside the house. I think that's exactly what it is. So I think they're fairly certain that the DNA that they've got in the house is from the person. And so if the DNA on the glove doesn't match it, I guess if you think there's more than one person, you might test that. I don't know what you're saying, Danielle. It doesn't match the got it back. Man, whew, I'm not sure what you want me to do with that. It doesn't match the got it back. Okay, let's see. Maybe, oh, they got it back. What doesn't match? What are you referring to when you say it doesn't match? What doesn't match? They got it back. How do you know? Where are you reading this from? I know that they got the DNA from the glove. They have it. How do you know it doesn't match? Send me a link. I got an email up there to an article that says it. Well, that's kind of sad. You guys, I mean, here's something we probably didn't know, and maybe it affected some things. But I just was sent this by Christopher. It says that Arizona sheriff leading Nancy Guthrie's case reveals his brother died one day after her disappearance as he shuts down haters accusing him of botching investigation. That's pretty sad. I don't even know how he was able to do anything. I wouldn't even be able to, like, you know, function whatsoever. So maybe it explains some stuff, you know. Where is this stuff coming from? It didn't match. Okay, you heard it on the news. Yeah, that doesn't work for me. I don't believe you. Okay, send me a link where you saw it, and then I'll believe you. Don't say, "Oh, I heard it on the news." Yeah, that's like that doesn't work because nobody else is talking about that, but somehow you heard it on the news. Let's see. Yeah, you went to a basketball game. Yeah, you know what? I went to when my brother died. That was one of the weird things when my brother died. Is I had a dream in my dorm room, and my brother said, "Hey, Gray, here's 2 Blazer tickets." I mean, it was weird. That the very night, like he dies, then I go to sleep that night. And I didn't sleep very well. But when I did dream, he came up to me in the dream and he said, "Hey, I got us 2 Blazer tickets, but I can't go now." And then I don't remember what he said after that. But then when I go home, we drove home like the next day, all the way back to Portland from Eugene, and right when I pull up, my dad walks out and goes, "Hey, here's 2 Blazer tickets that I had got for you and Garrett. Why don't you and Grant go?" So then me and Grant went to the Blazer game. I don't remember anything about the game. I don't remember anything. I just remember going to the game. And I remember everything about the game. I'm sure it was just like meaningless. So that was pretty weird, right? But we went to a game, and I guess if somebody filmed me that wanted to be critical, you'd say that. That's not the thing in this case that makes him going to the game. They're going to the game on a day off or whatever, and even after a family member dies, that's fine. He went, though, when there's this missing person that he's in charge of, and it just doesn't look good at all. That's the difference there. Like if he had gone to the game after his brother died, and Nancy Guthrie wasn't missing, would anybody care? No, you wouldn't. Yeah. You wouldn't care at all. Yeah, it was one of the weird things. I had so many weird things like that with my brother, You guys all know the balloon story, so I won't bore you with that one again, but that's the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. Let's see. All right. Yeah, we're back onto the massive lulls again. Just, man, real tough day in here. I guess every day can't be perfect. Maybe I should look at it like that. Is anybody... I'll tell the balloon story if there's people in here that haven't heard it. But it seems like most of the people watching that are commenting have all heard it. Yeah. Those stories make... Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'll do it with visuals this time. Let's see. Eugene, Oregon. I went to University of Oregon for 2 years. Went to Western Oregon State College. Then I went to University of Oregon. And then I graduated at Oregon State. Yep, that's it. East 19th Street, right here. Yeah, this is it. That's crazy. Looks like it might... Oh, they changed this side where the hoop was, but... Yeah, anyways, my brother died in 1986 on March 13th. And then he had just been playing basketball here on this court. And then he went inside the house, took a shower, and then he got dizzy, and he had some crazy arrhythmia. He probably would have lived today because, the different technology they have. But, and, they even had to drop him on the stairs. They had to stop and then try to keep things going. And then they tried CPR for like an hour at the hospital. It sucked. But anyways, I don't want to go into that part. But they named this court here after him. But I think there was, like, right there was where the basketball hoop used to go up, and then it would go out. They put it over here, it looks like now, but it used to be right here. And so they put a plaque on the ground called the Grant Hughes Memorial Basketball Court. And they just named the court after him, and that was on March 13th, and I don't know how many months later they put it there or whatever, but the following year, on his birthday, which is March 9th, I was out here and, shooting baskets, going this way over here. Shooting baskets, that's where the hoop was. And it was raining, drizzly, I was all by myself, I was just thinking about him. And then I look up in the sky and I see this dot way up in the sky. It seems like it was coming from like way over here. And then I keep looking at the dot, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger, and then I realize it's a balloon, and then I walk right over here. It's just standing right there, and the balloon floated right into my hands, and it was a big cellophane happy birthday balloon. And man, isn't that crazy? Like, it's on his birthday the next year, and out of nowhere, on a rainy, shitty day, drizzly, it comes floating down right into my hands, a big happy birthday balloon. You gotta admit, like, that's like, what are the odds of that? I mean, you look at the city here and you just go, that balloon could have floated to any single point out here, but instead it lands right to me on a court named after a person whose birthday it is that day, and I'm shooting hoops outside. And then it stayed on the ceiling for like a week after that, inside the probably heat or whatever, but maybe there was some technicality why it still stayed up on the ceiling, but you gotta admit, other than that, that is some crazy shit, you know? So there you go. There you have it. And that's literally the... I wonder if it still looks... Let me go down to the... Oh, look at that. That's crazy. They got Street View. I wonder if they still have the plaque there. I kind of think they would have moved it. It would have... I think it was right here under where that paint is. But yeah, look at they completely changed it around. I don't know. They probably just got rid of it. That was 1986, or 40 years ago. A hell of a lot better hoop, though. I mean, look at that. That's 10 times better than when we were there. But man, it's all the same. It's funny. Yeah, it was like right. Let me see if I can find a. Let me see if I can find an older, just for the hell of it. I know it's not related to anything, but a Street View from a long time ago. Maybe it's still there. I wonder if somebody has that. I wouldn't mind getting that. I go to 2020. Is that right there? I'm pretty sure it was right there. In that I think that's it right there. This thing. See that? I think that was it's like a plaque. See how there's writing on that? That's crazy. And it looks like they've paved around it and it's still sitting there. Isn't that wild? Wow, that's crazy. It almost seems like maybe it was here once and then they moved it. I don't know. So I guess it's still there, or was there. I don't know if it's still there now. But anyways, you guys, I think I'm going to call it a show. Sorry about that. Just seems kind of just spinning my wheels. But thanks for listening to those stories. Thanks to Tracy Von Brott, Alley Cake, Tracy Von Brott, and yeah. It also feels like that way when you ask for people to send you an email and it doesn't show up. Hey, thanks to Cheryl for the PayPal there. Let me see what the... Hold on one second. Oh, and then Susan, too. Thank you. Just came in as I was talking. Let me... Penny Guthrie list... Okay, let me do that part. Family tree now. I don't see anybody named Penny on there. Oh, Penny, she's 64. That's kind of a cool website. Well, she lives in Indiana. That's interesting. So I guess I don't know if that's their mother or not, but it's somebody of that name underneath that website. Penny Guthrie. But it says she lives in Indiana. So I don't know. That would be interesting. I mean, it'd be, like if you click on her, though, who's her family members? See, the key is this. If you can show, if you can find out if Penny Guthrie is related to the Guthrie family that we're the case is about, then you have something there. Definitely something to look into. Do you agree with that? Yeah, definitely if you can find that. But somebody said that there was a mugshot and a link, and that never showed up. Yeah, you can't use like Google Street View from years ago and try to come up with something. Yeah. Somebody said Google Map in November there was a blue vehicle parked near Nancy's home. The place to wait seemed odd to me, but might be common, and there was a home for sale nearby, so maybe some notified the neighborhood, something or other. I can't see. Also, I checked Annie's husband's old address, and there are homes nearby that showed homes working on cars. If the gloves are mechanic gloves, let's say, I thought, what a coincidence. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people wear those things. I don't know. A lot of people wear those. Oh wait, yeah, I was going to take off. Got to get my steps in. Got to do something worth something. All right, so we had Tracy Von Brott, Alley Cake, and Tracy Von Brott with helping out with the Troll Fund, and then we had South Texas Guy, Alley Cake, Lori, Bengal Cat. I was going to have tonight where we have the lines. Like tonight we're going to do a show where we have a StreamYard link that you just click on, but you can just use your voice like a telephone. And I don't think it matters where you live or anything like that. And we can talk about your theories or anything that we've found in the case. No, we're not going to do crazy, like wild out there stuff because you heard somebody say it somewhere else. All right. Yeah, it was kind of funny because the dipshit JLR who had the like some genealogist came up to him and was like trying to solicit people to upload to GEDmatch, which I totally agree with. I think people should be, if you're on Ancestry or any other sites, you should download your DNA onto GEDmatch. And he was just so disinterested. He was just, and she was explaining how things work, and he just kind of was like, yeah. I got to go back to the crime scene. To do what? To hold a vigil? You don't want to lose your spot, I mean, it's just ridiculous. But we on this channel, everybody has. We probably know more about how it works for genealogy than anybody else because we've gone over it 1,000 times, and we've also had Colleen Fitzpatrick on, Dr. Colleen Fitzpatrick, pretty much the founder of genetic genealogy for criminal cases. She's explained it 1,000 times. Right. And it's one of those things. And when you listen to the news, they don't know what they're talking about. It's so bizarre. They go, hey, maybe they can get some familial DNA somehow, off of like Ancestry or, 23andMe, those types of things. No, clown, that isn't how it works. That isn't how it works. Here, I'll tell you guys right now. For anybody out there that's confused here, I can do this in 2 minutes. And you'll know exactly how it all works. When they find DNA at a crime scene, if it's enough DNA, they put it into a sequence. They don't even have to have the full sequence, but it's good to do that. They can put it into a sequence. And then they take the markers that are needed for CODIS and they put them in CODIS, and if they have a match, great. If they don't have a match, then you can use investigative genetic genealogy. The only problem with that is the DNA format that you have doesn't match. There's a site called GEDmatch, and then there's Family Tree DNA, and those are ones that you can upload raw data to and get your relatives based on centimorgan count. Okay, Ancestry and 23andMe, which doesn't exist, I don't think. Maybe they got bought out or whatever. They don't allow you to upload raw data there. Okay, they don't allow you to do that. But I think Family Tree DNA, if I remember correctly, they might allow you to do that, and they're one of the bigger ones. But they don't let you use it for law enforcement. Okay, however, the way it works is you spit into a container and you send it off, and then your genetic profile is created on those websites. Okay, however, to get it into GEDmatch, you need to download from 23andMe or Ancestry or Family Tree DNA a raw data file. It even comes in a zip file. You upload it to GEDmatch. It goes in there, and a few days later, after it gets through the system, all of the closest relatives that they have in their system show up to you. The problem is how do you get the data into the format that you can upload it if it's just from a crime scene? It's not spitting into the container. Do you get it? That's where the issue was. So there's these companies out there like bioinformatics that can take your DNA sequence and format it correctly, turn it into a zip file that you can upload to GEDmatch, as if you would send it to one of the big ones. Like for us, we have to spit, send it to Ancestry or 23andMe, and then they create a raw data file that we can download, and they also give you all your relatives and all that. But you can also download your raw data file. But if you don't have the raw data file, you have to create it artificially on the side, and then you can upload it to places like GEDmatch and Family Tree DNA and the other ones that are out there that accept uploading. And then you get back your closest relatives based on centimorgan count, and a lot of times you just get their email and etc. And then you have to communicate with them, say, hey, can I get your name? I'm looking into something. And then they go, sure, here's this one. And then you can go to usenewspapers.com to populate using obituaries, different things like that, to fill out a family tree. And then you're looking for relatives on both sides of the family, the father and the mother's side. And once you have that, you can narrow it down to a particular family. And there you go. That's how it works. It's the easiest damn thing in the world. And it's not easy to do the stuff, but what I'm saying is it's easy to understand it. It's so strange how they make it very complicated all the time. And everybody should be doing it. I think it's weird when people go, I don't want to, it's privacy, Grant, it's private. Well, who's looking at it? Nobody cares. I tell you what, this is what I want to do to make it easier. You know how they already do CODIS for people in prison? Why don't you take every single prisoner in the entire United States, and as they're getting their blood drawn for CODIS or swabbed, they're required to then, we also upload their DNA to GEDmatch. Then we'd have millions more people with a great, biological diversity across the country, and those genealogy sites would work tremendously better for looking up criminals. And I would have it so that, maybe law enforcement use can be used on any of the sites that have that uploaded to it. Yeah. Now maybe, Tracy. Yeah. You should get cloned. Anyways. Hey, but at least there'd be 2 of you, right? Or 3? Yeah. You know, it's weird. I always thought it was an interesting concept. Like, if you could clone a person immediately, let's say you're right here, and then you basically photocopy and they exist here, complete with everything. They're, just an absolute copy on the fly, like as an adult, not a clone like you have to grow, because that can be done. They can already absolutely create a twin of yourself. by, you know, just putting your DNA into a cell, and then they've done that with animals, so they could do that. But wouldn't it be interesting if you could actually clone yourself as an adult? I mean, I would have done it when I was like 20, because then, you know, at least, I mean, maybe you could cryogenically freeze that one or whatever. Anyway, here's the part that's weird is, would you immediately have all the same memories and everything? I mean, it's almost like, you know how your soul is your soul, and it's like who you are kind of thing. But if you could just clone, wouldn't that person have all the same exact thoughts and everything? But their life is only different from now forward, because they're a different entity. But prior to that, right when they appear, wouldn't they have all the same thoughts and memories and feelings and beliefs that you have? Right? And they'd want to wake up the next morning, go into the office, and start looking up crime stuff. You know? It's really weird, isn't it? Strange stuff. Yeah. Well, that's just, I think that is what it would be. I mean, I don't think of it like religious, an issue with that. I just think of it's like, isn't that crazy? I think if you clone somebody, like you could literally just copy them verbatim to another being right here, and there's no difference genetically or anything. It's just literally a copy. On the fly, they would have all the same memories that you have and thoughts, and they'd want to walk up and give your wife a hug or something. You know what I mean? It's really, it's crazy stuff, you know? Yeah. Hey, thanks, Craig from Craigslist. All right, you guys, I'm going to take off. So thanks for being here. We'll see you this evening, where we'll do like a show. See what, I'm sure there'll be some new stuff that comes out before this evening. Seems like there always is, but anyway, see you guys later. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, flag rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Greg is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, that's a hell of an idea. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to Jack, but when you went back to work, you wouldn't remember what they did. Hey, I told you to get that thing, and you never told me that. Oh my God, this person's got dementia. You'd have dementia to them. Yeah, so anyways, all right, see you guys later.